You are called consecrated persons. What makes you a consecrated person? Tell me why you are called a consecrated person. Sometime back, we had the celebration of the year of consecrated. What is consecration? Totally set aside. Okay. Am I a consecrated person? Am I a consecrated person? So when we celebrated the year of the consecrated, was it also my year? Because I am a licensed priest. Am I a consecrated person?
Yes. 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 Set apart. Yes.
So, married people, are they consecrated?
Yes.
They are not consecrated. No. So, I am asking you this question in the context of the celebration of the year of consecrated life by the Holy Father. Was that year also meant for the diocesan priests?
Yes.
So all priests and religious that year. There was a separate year for priests. Year of priests was there separately.
Yes.
Okay. We use the word consecrated in everyday language. I am consecrated to be a priest to dispense the mysteries of God. That is another thing. All of us are consecrated through our baptism. That is another thing. All of us are consecrated through baptism. Set apart for Christ. Okay. In the broad sense, every Christian is consecrated. A priest also is consecrated because to be the dispenser of the mysteries of God, to be the teacher, to be the prophet, to be the priest in the name of Christ in that sense. But when we speak of consecrated life, we have to understand that refers to people in the Catholic Church who make the profession of the evangelical counsels. Those who profess the evangelical counsels are called the consecrated. In that context, in the church, there are two groups of people, religious and secular institute members. Members of religious institutes and members of secular institutes. They also make the profession. You may ask me, what is the difference between the religious and secular institute members making profession? Only that the religious profess through public vows. Secular institute members do not profess through public vows, even though they make the profession. Even though they make a profession. So you are a religious institute member. You have professed the evangelical counsels of chastity, poverty, and obedience by public vow. By public vow. So that takes me to explain to you what is a vow. Canon 1191, 1191. Afterwards you can read in this Italian book and or in your Google also. 1191. I briefly say, a vow is a deliberate and a free promise made to God concerning some good which is possible and better. You make a promise to God concerning some good. It becomes public when it is accepted by the lawful superior in the name of the church, not because it is publicly made. Sometimes we think public vow means publicly made. Not that. Superior and two witnesses also in a room. No need of mass also. Still it is public vow only. So you have made the vow, public vow, to observe the evangelical counsels. So the Holy Father, Saint John Paul II, always spoke about The witness of being. Your first witness is this. This you should never forget. Witness of living the three evangelical counsels. Living the three evangelical counsels. In that first one is chastity. Canon 599 speaks about it. Why? Why are you unmarried? Why have you renounced sex, life, indulging in sex? Why? The reason is simple, from the gospel, for the sake of the kingdom of heaven, to do the will of God. Secondly, you remind the world of the life to come. So, one of the sisters told me, I saw the example of sisters. There is something more than this ordinary life. That's why I became sister, even though my family is Buddhist, she said. So you remind the world by your life of chastity that there is something more. Sign of the world to come. And the third one is what St. Paul says, to serve the Lord with an undivided heart in greater fruitfulness. 1 Corinthians 7th chapter. Often you have to reflect on it. To serve the Lord with an undivided heart. Sometimes some may be priests, religious, but their heart is divided among many people. No, that is not good. So this is the biblical basis. For the sake of doing the will of God, preoccupation with doing the will of God. That's why Jesus did not marry. Mary did not involved in carnal sex. So I am not marrying because I imitate Mary, I imitate Jesus. Because I am preoccupied with doing the will of God, I want to remind the world that there is one more life after this, and then I want to give myself wholeheartedly to the Father, to serve Him with an undivided heart. How is it concretely lived? One is not being married. The other is nothing to do with sex, which is permitted only in the context of marriage between the spouse. How do you live your consecrated chastity? By a life of prayer, by hard work, healthy relationship among the sisters, special devotion to the Mother of God, who is the example and protectress of consecrated life. That is the first evangelical counsel. Second evangelical counsel, 2 Corinthians 8th chapter 9th verse is quoted there, even in the document of Vatican, Perfecte Caritatis, and even in the canon law. Though he was rich, for our sake he became poor. If you don't work harder than your family members, you are not a consecrated person taking the vow of poverty. He was rich, for our sake he became poor. That is the text cited. How is it lived? Poor in fact and spirit. Many are thinking about Matthew's Gospel, blessed are the poor in spirit. But Luke's Gospel, many forget. Blessed are you poor. That's why the document on the religious life also says, be poor in fact and in spirit. Both Matthew's Gospel and Luke's Gospel. Hard working. What is the use of taking the vow of poverty if you are known as lazy person? Poverty involves hard work. St. Paul says in one of his letters, I worked harder than the others. You should be able to say also, I worked harder than my family members, harder than my sisters. That is really our living the vow of poverty. Sober. The Lord doesn't ask you to beg, not too luxurious or begging. Sober. And then stranger to earthly riches and dependent on the superiors for your daily needs in the use and disposition of material things. This is how poverty needs to be lived by the religious. and you are making a promise to God. That you have to recall, am I living also the Evangelical Council of Poverty according to the constitution of the FMA sisters. Thirdly, obedience. Obedience. One thing we have for evening prayer, no, frequently, though he was in the form of God, he humbled himself even up to death on the cross. Obeyed even up to death on the cross. What is obedience? Obedience is a submission of our will to the will of God. Obedience is submission of our will to the will of God. Manifest through the superiors. Some people will say, if God were to tell me directly, I will obey, but I will not obey the superior. Or grudgingly, I will obey. No. Willingly obeying. And then documents and the law say, obedience is for faithful people who have faith and love. You can obey sincerely only when you believe in God and only when you love God and His church and His congregation. Obedience is rooted in faith and love. Submission of one's will to the will of the superiors when they command in accordance with the constitutions. That is given in Canon 601, 599 chastity, 600 poverty, 601 is obedience. Speaking about obedience, I always cite the example of Abraham. You know, in Genesis 13th chapter, Abraham's servants and his nephew Lot's servants are fighting. At that time, what does Abraham say? He tells, normally we will say, you are my brother's son, I had pity on you, I took you with me, come on, get lost. That's what we will say. But see the statement of Abraham. Why should there be strife between you and me, your servants and my servants? If you go to the right, I go to the left. If you go to the left, I go to the right. In other words, a man of faith is saying, choose what you want. I will choose what you do not want. I used to tell so many provincials and bishops, if some of the sisters and fathers say like this, Bishop, provincial, send me to a parish where nobody wants to go, there won't be any problem at all in the congregation. But a man of faith should always say, choose what you want. I will choose what you do not want. So, in essence, my dear sisters, consecration refers to the profession of the three evangelical councils for the closer following of Christ. In your case, through public vows. Through public vows. I am also bound to leave the evangelical councils, but not through public vows. I make a promise to the bishop only. You make a promise to God. You make a promise to God. Lord, I will be chaste. Lord, I will be poor. I will be obedient. In that you have to live throughout. This is the first witness of being, my dear sisters. Witness of being. You know in the bottom of your heart how I take these vows very seriously. We should not promise to God one thing and compromise in the course of living these. That you have to think. Okay, this is the first thing. First essential element of your religious is you are a religious. Salesian sisters are religious. First essential thing for you is profession of these three evangelical councils through public vows and living them very concretely. Okay. Second essential element is fraternal life in common or sisterly life in common. That is the second essential thing. When you have some time, you have to read also Canon 602, 602. It gives in a nutshell what is this fraternal life in common. I find you very happy. For outsiders, sometimes some communities are happy. Sometimes insiders, it will be also, otherwise also. But then that should be the thing. Especially, you said about your witness, vocation promotion. I always say, if sisters are loving, joyful, united, naturally many will be attracted. That is the best way to attract vocations. Sisters should present a joyful community, united community, cheerful community. That is the thing. See, one thing is, now the first thing regarding this, the fraternal life is rooted and based in charity. The fraternal life is rooted and based in charity. I often quote Luke's Gospel, 6th chapter. Jesus says, love your enemies. And after saying that, he says 5 things. First, do good to them. Do good to them. Secondly, bless them. Bene dire. Speak well to them, speak well of them. Speak well to them, speak well of them. Third, pray for them and with them. Pray for them and with them. And then Jesus says, if they ask you, they beat you on the right cheek, show the left also. That means be patient with them. And fifthly, if they ask you to come 1 mile, go 2 miles. Be generous to them. These things we are supposed to do even to the enemies, means how much more to our Salesian sisters, one another, to our family members, to those who are dear to us. 5 things. Never forget, this is the commandment of Jesus even to the enemies. Do good to them, speak well to them and of them, pray with them and for them, be patient with them, be generous to them. What a wonderful commandment, difficult commandment, daring commandment that Jesus our Lord has given. We can never forget it. That's why charity must be part of our life. In India, sometimes I tell the sisters, you are shopping for occasions, so many places. In this particular place, your convent is there for 10 years, 20 years. No sisters join you. Shame on you, I used to tell. You have not had an impact on others. Every sister must bring at least one girl every year from the community through your life, united community. That's why I used to challenge them. See, you know, 2 kinds of evangelization. Matthean evangelization is go and preach, go and teach that you are doing. The John 9 model of evangelization is by your love for one another. The world will know that you are my disciples. By loving one another, you have to evangelize. You have to bring people to Jesus. Bring people to Jesus. We should not forget it. So, community life is rooted and based in charity. That is important. In community life, there must be mutual help for the members. Mutual help. Some sisters are very good in taking help from others. They will never help others. You should not be parasite, living on other people's blood. Or you should not be a floater. Everybody goes there, you also go. Just for numbers' sake, you are there. Eat, drink, be merry, Charvaka philosophy, enjoy life. No, mutual help. Mutual help. I was telling the fathers earlier also, I told everyone how to be young and attractive. Everybody is worried these days. Perfume industry is flourishing because young and attractive. I tell the students and the priests two secrets. One is learn something new every day. You will be attractive. Learn something new every day. Second is do some good to some person every day. At least one good, some good. The good need not be extraordinary, ordinary. Say a word of encouragement. Sister, you decorated the chapel well. Congratulations. That is good. You will become attractive. Do some good to some person every day. Learn something new every day. So, mutual assistance. Do you help the sisters? Yesterday I was so much touched. Now suddenly I said I want to, this afternoon talk, we want to have PowerPoint. There was the computer, laptop was not ready, the screen was not ready, and then arrangements had to be done. You know the fathers who came there, 6, 7 of them got up from the place, each one going fast and running about and doing something, and within 10 minutes they got everything ready. I was so much edified. I told them, I carry that you can't be part of the landscape when your brothers are in need. Oh, that father is in charge, they did not keep quiet. I carry this message back home to India, I told them. They were also very happy. Some senior priests coming and folding that screen and then putting it over the wall, that the wall may be clean and all. So how much they are participating. I used to tell in this way, who will go to heaven, who will go to purgatory, who will go to hell. To the little children. Usually we will say, if you die without any sin, even menial sin, you will go to heaven. If you die with small sins, you will go to purgatory. If you die with mortal sin, you will go to hell. That's how we used to teach children, no? I used to change a little and then tell the children in this way. Your mother asks you to do some work, you don't do it. You don't do it, you go to hell. And you do it after your mother asked you, then you go to purgatory. Then who will go to heaven, Father? Children used to ask me. Even before your mother telling, you are sensitive that she has so much work. Then only you go to heaven. Sensitivity to the needs of others. Sensitivity to the needs of each member of the community. Each member of the community. You can't keep quiet. And today also, this morning, after the Mass, I was so much touched. That Korean father was the superior general of the congregation. So it was raining. Senior priest, today I came back and came with him only. He put this plastic, with another priest and joined. One man came to put the whole plastic, not to get wet. So he gave it to him. He called another father and then went to the refectory. I thought he will not come because 2 of them went, then he will not come. And from there, the same man comes with an umbrella back to the chapel to take another person to the refectory. A senior priest, one who was superior general of the congregation, was not satisfied of reaching the refectory without getting wet, and he brings back the umbrella again to take one more person from here. That remains fresh in my memory, always wanting to help. Don't wait for others to ask your help. That's why community life means what? Simply living under the same roof is not community life. Community life means mutual assistance. Mutual assistance. rooted in, based in charity. And then also the law of the church says the members are united as a special family in Christ. Your larger family is the Salesian family. Still smaller family is your province. And your immediate family is the community where you are appointed. Immediate family. You are rooted out of your own natural families to belong to this community. I don't know how in this community, I have seen in some communities, nowadays with the proliferation of mobile phone, some of the sisters are more worried about what happened to the great grandniece when she went to the school than the sister who has a fractured leg. She has not visited the sister here in the community with a fractured leg. And then inquiring about the great grandniece, she had a slight scratch, it seems, while going to the school. Are you really detached from your natural families? Your family is this. Your family is this. And the family members always must remember. I have stayed in one family in Kerala, in Trichy, when I was living as a seminarian for nearly a month. After the night prayer, they will say here, as you say, Aukon to everybody. Night they will say peace to everybody. Peace, peace, peace after the night prayer. Even now that remains fresh in my memory. Sometimes there are sisters, religious, who go to bed without reconciling with a sister in the same community. Let the sunset not find you still angry. Let the sunset not find you still angry. We do not know whether the next day we will be alive or not. Let the sunset not find you still angry. We cannot pray the Our Father. Jesus will say, don't say Our Father. You are not talking to her for 3 days. Say, my Father. Forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. Change the prayer, please. Do not forgive our sin as we do not forgive other people's sins. You should be honest in praying. Honest in praying these prayers. Our Father, we are pointing out our own example of mutual forgiveness in order to beg forgiveness from the Lord. Community life. Unite them. It must be a sign of universal reconciliation in Christ. Our community life is a heaven on this earth. It should be like that. It should be like that. So this is the second aspect. You know, in the history of religious life also, first they went for mortification, prayer, penance. Then they said, if we do not practice the commandment of love, how can we save ourselves? That's why they began to live together. Then obedience came. This is how religious life developed in the early church. So we have to love one another. I know in one convent of 4 sisters, 2 in the medical mission, 2 in the school ministry, they were living under the same roof, but then they were not talking to each other. The whole village knew about it. First, the 2 school sisters will go for the mass. After 5 minutes only, others will start. They will sit in that corner, they will sit in this corner. Excellent result in the examination, good medical care. By their divided life, they were counter witness to the gospel. Community life is very, very important. Loving community, cheerful community, accepting community. Always remember. Then the third essential element of the religious. Third essential. First, the vows. Secondly, the fraternal life. And third is fuga mundi in Latin, separation from the world. Some kind of separation from the world. Yesterday, day before yesterday, Jesus said in the priestly prayer, you are in the world, you are from the world, you are sent to the world, but you are not of the world. You are not of the world. World has its own values according to John. Luxury, pleasure, licentiousness. You can do anything and everything. You should not conform to the worldly values. That's why you have a religious habit. To remind you that you are not like others. There is also enclosure. Certain part of the community, anybody and everybody should not be taken. You are from the world. A life of solitude, contemplation, being one with the Lord. Some of them want to become secular. No, you should not give in to that. Live a joyful life, but show that you belong to the Lord. Again, going back to the development of religious life. Till 313, Christianity was persecuted, you know. Slowly and steadily, by the end of the 4th century, Christianity became official religion. Everybody was Christian, but everybody did not follow Christ. So to save themselves only, they ran to the desert, to the forest, to be alone with the Lord. That's how religious life started. So, religious means some kind of separation from the world. Don't say, we want to be one with the students, one with the people in anything and everything. Sometimes you need aloofness. Come away to a lonely place and rest a while. Sitting at the Lord's feet like Mary, in order to become a meaningful Martha. In order to become a meaningful Martha. Already Francis of Assisi told us, we all can conceive. Our prayer moment is the moment of conception. Our recollection moment is the moment of conception. Because St. Augustine said, Mary conceived in the heart first before she conceived in the womb. St. Francis of Assisi tells us, conceive Jesus in your heart every day by being alone, by your personal prayer, community prayer. Conceive Jesus. Give birth during the day when you are working in the school, when you are animating the youth, when you take care of the abandoned children. Your life of charity is giving birth. Your life of prayer is conceiving. Don't try to give birth before conceiving. Or don't fail to do the life of charity. Otherwise it will be moral abortion. Prayer, no work. No charity. Getting angry with the people all the time. That means you are aborting Christ whom you have conceived in your heart. So that need to be part of our life. Let's say two extreme. Some are contemplaholic, like alcoholic. Only prayer. Sister, we have to clean the house. No, I am making my meditation. Come on. Don't make your meditation as an escape from the community work. Some other sisters are there, apostolaholic. All the time they are out. Mobile, phone, visitors. They never join community prayer, never pray personally also. Both are dangers. Contemplation in action, action in contemplation. Both are needed. This is the, in essence, about the community life of the sisters. The essential elements of sisters. The vows, the community life, and the separation from the world. In addition, in the law of the church, there are 11 canons which speak about the obligation and rights of all the religious. Obligation and rights of all the religious. So your constitution also speak about them. Once again, now I want to remind you of this. The first obligation is contemplation, 662. Prayer and contemplation. So, two things are very important. One is the Gospels, the Bible. The other is your constitution. Witness of your consecrated life is your first obligation. Witness of your consecrated life. As proposed in the Bible, as proposed in the Constitution. I am sure you also have, like many other congregations, the periodic common listening to the constitutions. It is important. Occasionally, ask, I would suggest to the superior, let one chapter be summarized by the sisters to remind us, a reminder. We need reminders constantly. Of course, we are reading the Bible. That's okay. Canon 663 speaks about all the spiritual exercises, among which first is prayer. And divine office also, your office. You should be serious and sincere. I would suggest that it is made meaningful. Simply reciting without any feeling, any heart. Suppose one sister explains one psalm, or at least one stanza of a psalm, one day, it will not add to much of the time. No, Father, we have to go for other verse. No. Make community prayer meaningful. For that, in every day, there can be some creativity within the given prayer. Within the given prayer. Or at least the prayer of the faithful. Not necessary. Every time you repeat what is printed. Sisters, today we say 5 short intentions. That is good. Everybody is involved. Then reading of the Word of God. Reading and reflecting of the Word of God. Sister was telling me, why can't you share about Mother Mary? I can give you what I shared yesterday. 1 hour I shared about Mother Mary. I have the video and audio also. I can share with you. You can listen at your free time. And that's another thing. One thing is, we know about Mother Mary. She was a woman of the Word. Woman of the Word. She treasured all these things in her heart. If you don't know the Bible, you are not Mary's child. Maria Auxiliatrice, no? So you should be the daughter of Mary who treasured the Word of God. I have translated the Italian book by Cardinal Angelo Comestri in my own language, in English. I translated. I sent to Bishop Anthony. You can get it from him also. Still it is not printed in English. The whole. If Mary were to speak the gospel in her own words, in first person, how she will speak? About 80 pages. The original is in Italian, Il Vangelo di Maria. Very beautiful. I gave my English translation this morning to Monsignor Anthony. So you can get it so moving. In that, especially in the first chapter, Mary says, I was reading Isaiah 7th chapter. I was reading about the promise of God to David. And I read that something happened in my heart. In that context, as I was praying, only angel appeared. No imagination, fertile imagination, but to fill up the pages of the gospel. Very beautiful. Word of God. Lay people sometimes know the Bible by heart. See, for example, St. Teresa of Child Jesus, 24 years. She did not have the facilities that we have today. She knew the Bible thoroughly. And then today, I was telling the father, she said, I want to become a priest. St. Teresa of Child Jesus, why? I want to preach about Mary. How she is an ordinary woman but an extraordinary woman of faith and surrender. Saint Teresa of Child Jesus said, Word of God, I want you to know the Bible. Know the Bible. All the passages of the Bible. What is the use of studying that one, this one, without knowing the Bible sufficient? Then only you can speak. That's why, sisters, I spent 3,000 hours to record the Bible. In my voice, the whole Bible is 100 hours Old Testament, 26 hours New Testament. In 126 hours, you can listen to the Bible in my voice. Unfortunately, it is in my mother tongue. So many lakhs of people are listening today. I rejoice in the fact that so many people are listening to the Bible than in the fact that my students are more than 1,500 priests and 7 bishops. More than that, the Bible I read is listened to by people gives me so much joy. Then Eucharist, the Holy Eucharist, religious obligation. First one, participate in the Mass devoutly. Don't come and sleep in the chapel. Huh? Dear sisters, don't say yes, Father. Don't say like that. Very attentive. Very attentive. Saint Teresa of Avila said, for me, every homily is a good homily. Because it is about my Lord. So every Christian, prepare for the Mass devoutly, work in due time. For example, at the time only in middle of the Mass, taking the mic or lighting the candle. You should do it before. The dog should not bark 8 days after the thief came. No? What is the use? Then there will be some sisters searching the hymns that time only. I cannot preach only if I look at them. You did not do your homework, not searching and making noise, this and that. Not during the Mass. Before the Mass, things have to be done before. No unnecessary moments. Otherwise, you are not helping. You are not helping the participation. You have to prepare. What song? At the time only going on. How can I, when 3 sisters are searching for the songs, how can I look at the others only and preach others? Don't make any unnecessary noise. Unnecessary. Don't distract people. Distract people. Preparation counts. And then don't sing a song suddenly which you alone know. Huh? You alone. Huh? What about the others? And nobody, you start a song and others do not. You have to prepare for the Mass. Receive the body of the Lord worthily. Adore the Lord present in the sacrament. You know, Mother Teresa was asked, how do you get all this energy? Only from the Eucharistic Lord. Eucharistic Lord. I told the fathers also, what are the fruits of an authentic prayer life? You become more and more humble. You become more compassionate. You will have enormous energy for hard work. You become humble, compassionate, and you will have enormous energy for hard work, for the mission. So we should manifest our prayer life in this way. In this way. Then, of course, special devotion to the Mother of God, including by Rosary. Another important aspect. Mental prayer, monthly recollection, other practices of piety, annual retreat. Then daily examination of conscience, 664, daily examination of conscience, and frequent approach to the sacrament of reconciliation. Old law said before 1983, 1917 to 1983, we had the old canon law that said every week religious must make confession. 1983 it said frequently. From every week, you should not go to every 3 months. At least every 3 weeks, at least you should make the confession. So remember, before 1983, religious were obliged to make confession every week. Before 1983, that was the law. Now you should not take away, because confession is a sacrament of grace. Sacrament. More you confess, you cleanse your heart. Cleanse your heart. Then, of course, community life, I already said 665. 666, in the use of modern means of communication. Antichrist number 666, it says, necessary discretion. Necessary discretion is to be there in the use of mobile, in the use of television, in the use of internet. What you see is what you become. You should avoid what is harmful to your vocation and dangerous to the chastity of consecrated person. Very clear. Avoid what is harmful to your vocation and dangerous to the chastity of consecrated person. Then religious should not assume, for example, other responsibilities without the permission of the superior. One right is mentioned in Canon 670. One right of the religious. They have the right to get from the congregation all that is necessary to live the purpose of their vocation. You need not go about and beg. The Salesian congregation, the community has to provide you all that is necessary to live the purpose of the vocation. 670. In addition to other obligations that are mentioned there. Time is past. Any other thing, canonical doubt, you want to ask me, I can answer a few minutes before we go for Mass. I just wanted to share with you the essence of religious life. Then only apostolate. The apostolate of religious is dealt from Canon 673 to 682. You can read it also and live accordingly. 673 to 682. 683, sorry. 673 to 683. 673 to 683. Apostolate of religious, how you have to exercise, and so on. I am not going into the detail that some of you asked. One thing is, all our apostolate must be under the authority of the bishop and under the authority of the congregation and its superiors. That is one thing. With regard to how you have to concrete situation, you have to approach them, that you have to see. And sister was asking a question with regard to dealing with mixed groups. You should be aware of the teaching of the Catholic Church with regard to including people of other religion. So, we have to proclaim the Christ to all, but others are not united with us with regard to the sacraments. Especially, we accept with regard to non-Catholics only baptism and their marriage. But all other things, unless they have faith, we cannot give them. They have to accept the Catholic faith, only then with regard to other sacraments they can be one with us. The Oriental Orthodox, non-Catholic Orientals, they have the same 7 sacraments, but then they don't accept the authority of the Pope and the bishops. That is the only difference. So we should know the teaching of the Catholic Church. According, we can always do charity to them, give the gospel to them, teach them, but it is their freedom to accept the Catholic faith and with regard to the Catholic teaching. Sister Superior, shall we finish because time for Mass, or unless you want to ask anything, we can talk about different. I used to talk about, for example, when other places when I take a formal class for 3 days, then how a community is to be established, what are the things to be taken care of, what is the different kinds of formation from aspirancy to the permanent formation, and then what is the meaning of profession, and then especially with regard to leave of absence, exclaustration, dismissal from the congregation, and dispensation. All that I used to explain to the sisters when I take a complete course on canon law for religious. And then especially for superiors seminar, yesterday I took a session on the role of superiors and tips for superiors also I gave to the bishops and the priests, and gave the handout also, they have copied. But in short time, I just want you to be, one thing is, what is religious? Like the very first canon 573, closer following of Christ. All are called to follow. You are called to follow the law closely. For the perfection of the charity. For the building up of the people of God. For the building up of the people of God. For the perfection of charity, you follow the Lord more closely. That's why I said your prayer life, your dedication, commitment must be stronger than those of your family members and outsiders. Okay. Thank you, sisters.